The scene opens inside a lively classroom. A boy with striking pink hair leans forward and asks, "Have you heard what happened with our homeroom teacher?" Immediately, a girl, one who clearly holds a soft spot for him, murmurs that he just couldn't handle it all. Suddenly, a tense hush falls as a guy brandishing a knife appears. He comments that their presence had made someone break down in tears. Without missing a beat, the pink-haired boy proudly displays his phone. "Upload this online and it'll go viral," he exclaims. What shocks Noon is that the footage shows their very own teacher, tied up, stripped down to his shirt and underpants, leaving the teacher in a state of dread and anxiety. As the teacher nervously wonders, what are they planning to do? Someone snaps, "Shut up, or I'll cut off your little friend." The teacher's face turns ashen as he pleads for them to stop, but instead, they laugh like mischievous goblins, promising to upload the video. That a blue-haired guy then chimes in, teasing, "Was Ayana enjoying the view?" Ayana blushes furiously and quickly declares that she was not. Not missing a beat, the pink-haired boy quips, "If there are no more teachers, we will have no more classes." Seizing the moment, a flirtatious girl asks if Ryudo would like to come over to her house, and Sasaki chimes in that he's itching for some fun too. Suddenly, a voice booms from the front, "Everyone back to your seats." The bell rings, off-key, and the principal makes a grand entrance. He reminds the class that they've all heard the news. Their homeroom teacher is currently hospitalized. With little chance of his return, a new homeroom teacher has been assigned. Sasaki can't resist a jab, asking if idiot Tanny managed to get home before he died. The class erupts into laughter, mockingly celebrating the fact that the teacher isn't dead. A twisted party atmosphere fills the room. The principal grows nervous and orders absolute silence. In a burst of defiance, a student slams his hand on the desk, muttering that the principal is so annoying, which only makes the principal more frightened. Just then, a voluptuous woman strides into the room, greeting the principal with a warm smile and an aura of confidence. Her arrival is accentuated by her ample melons, which even cause the boy's face to redden. "Good morning," she announces. "I'm Kasai, 23 years old, and starting today, I'm your new homeroom teacher." Her words leave the class in awe. The brown-haired boy's eyes light up with hearts as every boy in the room exclaims, "Wow," in unison, clearly smitten by her beauty. Sasaki, unable to hide his excitement, blurts out that she's a neat woman with big melons and the best jewel of all. Two girls, clearly jealous, whisper about what's so special about her, while Ryudo falls in a deep thought. A nearby guy teases that Ryudo is getting too emotional. If he keeps it up, his girlfriend will scold him. But Ryudo insists he isn't thinking about that, although the other boys exchange knowing glances. Somewhere in the back of his mind, Ryudo swears he's seen her before, but he can't quite place where. Before long, the principal announces his departure, acknowledging that he knows this class is full of troublemakers and wishing Kasai the best. "I'll do my best for you all," she promises, her sincerity contrasting with the rowdy reputation of the class. One student even muses that while she seems pure and innocent, it's almost tragic for someone with a teacher like her to be caught in this madness. Kasai then writes her name on the board. Dressed sharply in a suit, she recalls a favorite quote from her junior high teacher, a quote that fuels her dream of making her mentor proud. The class falls silent, stunned by her heartfelt declaration. Just as the mood seems to settle, Ayana smirks knowingly and declares that the new teacher is annoying. Soon, other girls join in, calling her lame. Ignoring the teasing, Kasai announces, "Today, we're diving into chemistry for the next hour." Out of the blue, Sasaki raises his hand and asks, "When was your first experience?" The entire class bursts into raucous laughter, and Sasaki smirks, certain he's won this round of banter. But Kasai isn't fazed. With a raised eyebrow, she retorts, "Are you asking about clapping cheeks?" The unexpected response leaves Sasaki momentarily stunned before he blurts out, "Yes, that's exactly what I mean." The three girls exchange surprised looks. They'd expected a different reaction. Kasai steps closer to Sasaki, lowering her voice so only he can hear, and explains that the term first experience is ambiguous. "That's why we need to use the right word for what we truly mean," she whispers. In a daring moment that leaves him blushing, She confides that her very first experience happened when she was 12. The revelation leaves him flabbergasted as her words seem to send shivers down his spine. Before anyone can dwell on it too long, she calls the class back to order, reminding them that it's time to resume the lesson. Some girls murmur among themselves, questioning what kind of woman she is, wondering if she might end up like Idiot Tanny. They joke. Ayana, meanwhile, looks forward to witnessing how events unfold, though she inwardly doubts that the dreamy teacher will survive this chaotic cycle intact. As the lesson continues, Kasai turns her attention to the back of the class and asks, Ryudo, do you know how many molecules are in one mole? Irritated, Ryudo grumbles. Why are you asking me this? A mischievous smile plays on her lips as she clearly signals that she'll wait for his answer. His gaze, however, drifts appreciatively over her voluptuous curves and firm, beautiful legs. Seizing the moment, he challenges, if I answer correctly, I want you to take off that guard protecting your pink palace. The class erupts in laughter and cheers, with everyone chanting, take it off, take it off. Even clapping in unison, Kasai coolly replies, if you don't know the answer, just say so. One of his friends chimes in, boasting that he's top of the class and shouldn't be looked down upon. Feeling the heat of competition, Ryudo declares, all right, if I'm right, you have to do it. Kasai smiles and asks, so, how much is it? With confidence, he shouts, 6 times 10 to the power of 23. The class roars with approval as they celebrate his correct answer, but then Kasai adds, that's close, but the answer requires more detail. She explains that while his answer is essentially correct, it's not complete. Disappointed murmurs ripple through the class as he falls short of the full challenge, leaving Ayana fuming silently. The bell rings, signaling the end of today's lesson. Ryudo's friend grumbles that he should have provided more detail. After all, the challenge was clearly designed to make Kasai lower her guard. Ryudo himself protests that the rules were unfair, only to have his girlfriend approach him, exclaiming that she's being annoying and suggesting they should treat her like Idiot Tanny. Sasaki, however, is content with the day's excitement, remarking how cute their new teacher is with her massive melons and seductive words. If we were doing a gotcha for homeroom teachers, I doubt we'd ever get one as rare as her, he adds. Ayana, angered, questions if that sort of woman is really his type. Sasaki defends his view by noting that she's only 6 years older and still very much within his strike range. Even Ryudo jokes about her huge melons. Ayana scolds him for saying such things in front of his own girlfriend. In response, Ryudo starts scheming ideas for their next mischievous game, while a girl in the back watches their exchange with interest. Later, in the facility room, the principal checks in on Kasai, asking how the class is treating her. They're cheerful kids, Kasai remarks, though the principal is visibly flabbergasted when he learns that Wakata Tanny, nicknamed Idiot Tanny by the students, has already experienced 9 deaths in one lifetime, making any conversation with him nearly impossible. The principal confesses that he'd hoped to assign a veteran teacher to this class, but all his choices rejected the assignment. Are you really okay? He asks. Kasai simply smiles and declares that she's perfectly fine. As Kasai head back to class, Ryudo signals that Kasai is on her way. She re-enters the room and promptly orders everyone to take their seats. In an unexpected twist, suddenly someone hurls a bucket of water at Kasai's face, soaking her completely and catching everyone off guard. Despite the disruption, she remains composed and, to everyone's astonishment, looks even more attractive as her damp hair clings to her skin. Sasaki exclaims, "This is terrible. My hand slipped." Just as he says this, a girl doused her with water once again. In the midst of the commotion, a girl with glasses mutters that they're all awful, knowing that if she doesn't join in, she might be treated the same way. The rest of the class laughs, remarking in teasing tones that she's wet. Slowly, Kasai removes her jacket to reveal something that leaves everyone in the room breathless. There she stands, drenched yet smiling, her enticing curves and nearly visible assets drawing blushing admiration from both boys and girls. Calmly, she explains that it was all just an accident. The forms I handed out last week only count for today. Forget about submitting them, she instructs, setting a surprisingly normal tone for the rest of the school day. Sasaki, still processing everything, asks if she's really going to teach like that, given that every detail is on display. Kasai coolly responds that the layer underneath is black, so nothing will be visible, and she doesn't mind one bit. She then smiles warmly at them, a gesture that leaves Sasaki and another girl staring in shock. They are utterly dumbfounded. With a gentle tone, she declares, "That's all for today's session. At least get home safely." No sooner has she finished than Ayana shouts, "Sensei, are you really planning on going home like that? The floor is wet." Ayana's voice cuts through the room as she demands that the teacher clean up the mess. With a creepy smirk on her face, she reminds everyone that it's all her doing. Just leave it alone. Even if it spills onto the road, it'll dry in time. But come on, this isn't a road. What should we do before it dries? It's bothersome. The teacher steps forward calmly, saying, "It's not a problem for me," which catches Ayana completely off guard. Furious, Ayana retorts, "This will cause us problems. This is why we've been asking you to clean it up." In a slow, timid voice, Kasai interjects, "Even if it causes problems, it's not my fault." Ayana explodes. "What?" And suddenly someone in the back of the class laughs. Ayana screams, "Who was laughing just now? Was it you?" Yet the other students pay no attention. At that moment, Ryudo appears from behind, gently holding Ayana back and urging her to calm down. Seizing the chance, Kasai quietly slips out of the classroom, and Sasaki comments, "The teacher has left." Almost immediately, a shadow falls as Ayana appears. Dressed in a highest smile, Azami is soon confronted by Ayana, who demands, "Were you the one laughing?" Azami timidly declares that it wasn't her, but Ayana isn't satisfied. Ignoring Azami's protest, Ayana orders, "Come with me." In the cramped space of the girls' bathroom, the tension escalates. Ayana shoves Azami to the ground, and they both stand over her as pain etches itself on Azami's face. Two girls nearby, clearly upset, murmur that this treatment of a Kasai is unbearable. They feel as if they are being mocked. Ayana, still seething with frustration, questions, "What should I do to get rid of my frustration?" Azami stutters that she doesn't know, and with a sinister smile, Ayana declares that she will bully Azami to ease her own anger. She grabs Azami by the hair, and it seems as though another filming session is about to begin, perhaps even one for Tick Tick. Suddenly, Azami is overcome with dread as Ayana produces a picture of her in torment. "Do you really want your beloved parents, siblings, and even friends to see you in this shameful, pathetic state?" Azami bursts into tears, pleading, "Please do not upload it." The girls agree that they won't upload the video, as long as Azami pushes the teacher down the stairs. They don't want to get their hands dirty, so she must do it for them. Azami looks at them, wondering if she has a choice. If she refuses, they threaten to spread the video all over the world. If she doesn't want it uploaded, she'd better do as she's told. Later, as her teacher walks down the stairs and hides in a corner, it becomes clear. If that video is uploaded, she won't be able to live with the shame. The only refuge she has is to end it all. As the pressure mounts, Azami begins to act and apologizes. At that very moment, Kasai turns around, but Azami can't bring herself to do it. Instead, she breaks down, resting her head against the teacher's back, and whispers apologies. Kasai, concerned, asks, "Why are you crying?" In the nurse's room, Kasai notices that Azami's injury is swelling, something Azami had mentioned when she fell in the toilet, and worries that it might get infected if not properly treated. Kasai even questions if Azami hates her. Azami, caught up in the chaos, cries profusely and apologizes over and over. Kasai places a comforting hand on Azami's shoulder and declares, "A crying girl is not beautiful." Azami had tried to push the teacher down earlier, but couldn't manage it, and Kasai inquires, dumbfounded, if she is crying because she failed to do so. Azami quickly denies it, explaining that she didn't want to do it, but Ayana forced her to. Kasai, known for her kind heart, reveals that she has been crying over something she truly hates doing. Azami chimes in, revealing she was forced to be recorded in a video. They remind Azami that if she doesn't listen to them, they will spread that video. As long as those three are around, her daily life will be ruined. Kasai confesses that she too suffered in elementary school, when her life seemed to be swallowed by darkness until a teacher protected her happiness. That's why our teacher is here, to protect our happiness, she asserts. Azami is momentarily comforted by Kasai's words. Yet as expected, the hope feels hopeless. Azami reveals that her mother died of sickness 5 years ago and that her father is pushing himself to work hard just for her sake. I don't want to cause him any more problems, she whispers, determined to keep this matter hidden from him. Kasai smiles reassuringly and declares, "It won't cause you any trouble." But Azami pleads, "Don't do it. I can't bear to see any gentle, kind teacher break down again." Kasai then asks if Azami is referring to the previous teacher's attempt to end his life. Azami confirms that the people she is talking about are very scary. People who treat those around them inhumanely. Once their eyes are on you, you never know what kind of bad things they might do. She warned. Kasai smirks and comments in a chilling tone, "It's the same everywhere, just leave it to our teacher." Meanwhile, Azami believes that something similar had happened to her before and confesses that she couldn't forgive herself. Suddenly, a small, creepy smile appears on Kasai's face, and they declare that it's time to go back to class. Kasai pipes up, laughing if she isn't afraid, and looks genuinely happy. The scene shifts to a hospital where a person lies in a coma. Kasai comments that something good happened today. Even though Azami is being bullied, she is determined to help. Kasai looks at Azami with the same determination that once shone on Takuto's face. Realizing that it's getting late, Kasai announces she has to go home and cook dinner. She smiles warmly as she says goodbye and leaves. A little later, a student enters, Ryuto, who asks, "How do you feel, big brother?" Meanwhile, at Ayana's house, Ayana beats her teddy bear while shouting at it, clearly at a breaking point with all her stress. Her reaction to treating Azami like a toy is so extreme that she vows to see her face in more despair. In a moment of twisted inspiration, she decides that tomorrow she will bully Azami until she is completely satisfied. Next, Ryuto and Ayana share a touching moment that suggests today was a big event. Their lips draw closer, and as they kiss and caress each other, the intensity of their emotions fills the screen. Shortly after, we see a shrine dedicated to their teacher, adorned with flowers and covered in scribbled, terrible messages, things no student should ever do. When the teacher arrives, she is unfazed. She only smiles, and the three girls wonder if she might cry. But she calmly comments, "It seems everyone is full of energy today," adding, "It's really close to the real thing." She is glad that this outcome is different from yesterday. When Ayana sees this, she doesn't understand, but Kasai comments that the school's eastern side is currently under construction, so everyone must be cautious. Before the day ends, the teacher asks if there are any questions. Sasaki calls out, "I'm coming. What did you mean when you said it was really close? And by the way, the one who wrote on the board isn't me." She explains that if they were to have a normal lesson for the next hour, it would be really troublesome for her. Cleaning the blackboard in this weather is no easy task. Sasaki then asks if she doesn't feel any remorse for the other teacher, and the three girls remark whether she's really going to get another teacher sees this. Kasai shrugs, saying it doesn't hurt as she did write it. With no further questions, she leaves the class. As she departs, the students complain about her audacity, but many are secretly looking forward to after-school freedom. Indiana, the gym auditorium. The atmosphere grows even more charged. The three girls huddle together and demand, "Why didn't you push the teacher down?" Azami admits in a shaky voice, "I tried my best, but I couldn't do it." Ayana, with a devious smile, picks up a ball and taunts, "Why couldn't you do it?" Ayana throws the ball without warning. It misses its target, crashes into a window, and sends Azami sprawling to the ground. But Ayana isn't finished. She hits the student on the head with the ball, causing her glass to fall to the ground and the victim to cry and apologize profusely. Then, with a creepy grin, Ayana declares, "I'm uploading that video." Seeing Azami cry and beg for forgiveness, she adds coldly, "I forgive you, but we have to make an even more interesting video." Suddenly, Sasaki and Ryuto appear. In an uncalled-for moment, Sasaki does something so extreme that blood drains from Azami's face. He steps forward and questions, "Are we really doing this today?" Ryuto questions aloud, "Are you really doing this in front of 4 other people?" "Hey bro, come inside, it's way more exciting this way." a voice calls out. As another girl comments, she'll watch from outside while she records everything. Suddenly, Sasaki pipes up, asking if Ryudo isn't going to join in. Ayana declares we already did it early this morning. Ayana chimes in, causing Sasaki's face to flush with embarrassment. Ayana urges him to start. In the midst of the chaos, Sasaki leaps onto Azami, who is frozen, not daring to react at first, but using her own strength. Azami pushes Sasaki away. Yet before she can escape, one of the girls trips Azami. Sasaki remarks, almost incredulously, that she really thinks she can escape from so many people. Ayana adds sharply that if she had known this would happen when she rejected their orders, things would have been different. In that moment, the scene becomes so intense it seems as though everything is over for her. Her life, her family, her love, everything is gone. Just then, Kasai appears with a bright smile. Ayana, what are you doing here? Kasai declares she's joining in on the fun. Earlier, one of the girls had been intently watching her phone. She didn't want her hands to get dirty and pretended not to notice anything. But now, she suddenly sees long legs approaching her. Kasai greets her politely with a good afternoon, but the girl glares at Kasai with a small, dismissive expression, declares that they don't need anything from her. Without warning, Kasai punches her in the stomach, declaring that she has some business to settle. As Kasai stands at the door, the girl, now reeling from the blow, tries to cover up her pain. Ryudo, what does she need? He inquires. Kasai replies that she's only looking around, though it seems the girl who was supposed to be watching outside. Unexpectedly, she collapsed. One of her friends rushes to her side, her voice weak and trembling as she exclaims that the teacher hit her. Kasai remarks dryly that despite everything, she is still conscious. Her mission, it seems, has failed. A nearby girlfriend demands, "What the hell did you do, you violent teacher?" While Ayana, with a mocking expression, questions if she should sue Kasai on the girl's behalf. It soon becomes clear that Kasai isn't the one who hit her. Ayana's anger grows, and Ryudo comments that the girl claimed Kasai was responsible. Everyone's remarks are so cruel. This has turned into a fight among them, yet the blame falls on her. Her heart is broken, but that's the way teenagers sometimes act. Ryudo then asks if her head is injured, wondering what might happen if the incident were recorded. She thought Ayana was filming something else. Kasai ponders aloud. Who would be in trouble if that video were seen by the authorities? After all, they wouldn't be able to prove their innocence, and social justice is nothing like they imagine. Are you stupid? Someone shouts. Of course that won't happen. Ayana retorts sharply. Kasai smacks Ayana's hands away, emphasizing that the credibility of their testimonies is overwhelmingly different. She's discussing the weight of their words, a delinquent versus a model student's words. Kasai questions Azami if everything is the work of these bullies. With tears in her eyes, someone declares, "It's those bullies who did all this." Ayana then grabs her hand and demands, "Do you understand what will happen to you?" Azami remarks that maybe she is dark and dirty, just a weak human, but she is not the type who can push a wonderful teacher down the stairs. "I'm not a bad person," she insists. "You must be delusional," Ryudo interjects, declaring that they're only playing a game. Seeing this, Sasaki doubles down, insisting that Kasai is thinking too much about violence, a disgusting notion, since he despises violence. As a result, she decides that if that's the case, they shouldn't do everything the violent way. She adjusts her glasses, examines her head, and declares that it's time for them to go. As they leave, Ayana is left visibly irritated. Meanwhile, Azami, despite everything that's happened, feels relief that she's okay. Asami offers an apology for any trouble, but Kasai remarks that, surprisingly, she's super brave. Azami then declares that she couldn't betray the teacher who came forward to help her, and now they are completely on the bully's radar. Kasai reassures Azami, urging her not to give up on her education, and promises, as her teacher, that she will protect her. Azami pleads, "Please return. Run away from this place," Kasai commands, as those students are determined to use every tactic against everyone. Kasai adds that we're all the same, a comment that confuses Azami. "Go home now," she orders, though she still has some work to complete on her quest. "Be careful on your way home, and we'll see each other tomorrow." Kasai concludes. Later that night, Kasai decides it's time to do her overnight job.